Step into the world of silent shadows, where intrigue and suspense collide in tales that will keep you guessing until the very end. Here, the smallest details hold the biggest answers, and every shadow tells a story waiting to be discovered. Take a deep breath, open your mind, and join us as we unravel the mysteries that lie just beyond the light. The Garden of Secrets. Charmel Robson had always been a mystery to the people of Willow Creek. She kept to herself, tending to her sprawling garden with the kind of care usually reserved for prized treasures. Her home sat on the edge of town, surrounded by a high iron fence draped in ivy, and whispers about her hidden fortune had circulated for years. Some called her eccentric, others reclusive, but no one could have predicted the grim discovery that would bring her secretive life to an end. When a delivery driver stumbled upon her body buried in the flower bed behind her home, the entire town was shocked. The vibrant garden, once filled with lilies and roses, now concealed a chilling crime. Detective Raquel Cruiser leaned against the iron fence, watching as forensics carefully unearthed Charmel's body. The smell of freshly disturbed soil mingled with the scent of flowers, creating an oddly peaceful atmosphere despite the grim scene. Buried in her own garden, Raquel said, her voice flat. Someone wanted her hidden, but not far. Her partner, Fletcher Logan, crouched near the shallow grave, examining the soil. Looks like she was digging before it happened. See this? He pointed to a half-buried shovel lying nearby. Raquel nodded. She was working on something. Question is what? The first lead came in the form of Derek Brown, Charmel's estranged nephew. He arrived at the scene later that morning, his expression a mixture of shock and anger. She didn't deserve this, Derek said, running a hand through his hair. She was my only family. Raquel's gaze was steady. When was the last time you saw her? A few weeks ago, Derek said. We didn't see eye to eye. She was stubborn, refused to let anyone help her, said she didn't trust anyone. And you? Raquel pressed. Did you trust her? Derek hesitated. She was difficult, but she was family. Fletcher watched him closely. Any idea why someone would want her dead? Derek's face darkened. She had money. Everyone in this town knows it. Maybe someone got tired of waiting for her to die naturally. Regina Thompson, Charmel's neighbor, was the next to be questioned. She was a sprightly woman in her 70s, with sharp eyes and a penchant for gossip. She was out there late the other night, Regina said, gesturing toward Charmel's garden, digging around like she always does. I didn't think much of it at the time. Did you see anyone else around? Raquel asked. Regina paused, her brow furrowing. Come to think of it, I did. Derek. He was lurking by the gate. Looked like he was arguing with her, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. Raquel exchanged a glance with Fletcher. The mailman, Gary Lang, added another layer to the mystery. He revealed that a few weeks prior, Charmel had intercepted a piece of certified mail, a letter from a lawyer. She was in a huff about it, Gary said, muttered something about changing her will. Raquel's curiosity was piqued. Did she say why? Not exactly, Gary replied, but she looked worried, like she thought someone was after her money. Back at the precinct, Raquel pieced together the clues. Charmel's garden wasn't just a hobby. It was where she hid her most valuable possessions. Bank statements, legal documents, even a small lockbox containing cash were unearthed by the forensics team. It wasn't just money, Raquel said. She was protecting something bigger. Fletcher tapped a photo of the lockbox. Think she was hiding it from Derek? Raquel nodded. He's the obvious suspect, but we're missing something. The turning point came when forensics matched DNA from the shovel handle to Derek Brown. Confronted with the evidence, Derek broke down during questioning. She was going to cut me out of the will, he shouted, his voice trembling. After everything I'd done for her, she was going to give it all away to some charity. And you killed her, Raquel said coldly. It wasn't supposed to happen like that, Derek pleaded. I just wanted to scare her, make her change her mind, but she wouldn't listen. She hit me with the shovel and I snapped. As Derek was led away in handcuffs, Raquel and Fletcher stood in Charmel's now empty garden. The flowers, once a vibrant symbol of her life, now seemed to mourn her loss. She had every reason to distrust him, Fletcher said quietly. Raquel nodded. Trust is fragile, Logan, and greed breaks it every time. The garden, bathed in the golden light of sunset, remained a testament to Charmel's secrets that had cost her life. The story may have ended, but the shadows linger on. Thank you for watching Silent Shadows. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. We're always eager to hear what you uncover. Stay tuned for more chilling tales. And as always, be careful of the secrets lurking in the dark. Step into the world of Silent Shadows, where intrigue and suspense collide in tales that will keep you guessing until the very end. Here, the smallest details hold the biggest answers, and every shadow tells a story waiting to be discovered. Take a deep breath, open your mind, and join us as we unravel the mysteries that lie just beyond the light. Petals of Deceit, a mystery story, by Grave Pit Shadows. The rain had just begun to fall as the lights of Councilman Matthew Walker's barn flickered in the distance. Thunder cracked, and moments later, a scream pierced the night, followed by a dull metallic clang. Silence enveloped the small town once more. Detective Courtney Costello stood at the entrance of the barn, her trench coat shielding her from the light drizzle. Detective Dominic Sims approached, holding his notebook tightly. His youthful eagerness was evident as he glanced nervously at the scene inside. Matthew Walker lay sprawled on the barn floor, his throat gruesomely slashed. Beside him, a rusty sickle glinted in the faint light. Throat slashed, no sign of a struggle, Courtney noted, crouching near the body. He knew his killer. Dominic scribbled in his notebook. Looks like an old farming tool. Sickle, maybe? Courtney nodded, her sharp eyes catching details. And this, she pointed to the ground, where traces of soil mixed with petals formed a faint trail. Flowers? What does that mean? Dominic asked. Means we've got work to do. Courtney stood, her voice firm. Let's start with the witnesses. T.K. Holmes. The detectives arrived at T.K. Holmes' garage, the air thick with the smell of oil and gasoline. T.K., a burly man in his 50s, wiped his hands on a rag as they approached. I already told the sheriff I didn't see anything, T.K. grumbled. But you heard something, Courtney pressed. T.K. hesitated. Yeah, there was shouting, around 10 last night. Couldn't make out who it was, but sounded familiar. Familiar how? Dominic leaned forward. I don't know. Look, I keep to myself. I don't want trouble. Courtney exchanged a glance with Dominic. We'll be back if we need more, TK. Victoria Porter. 17-year-old Victoria Porter sat on a park bench, her dog Max at her feet. Her wide eyes betrayed her nervousness as Courtney and Dominic approached. I was just walking Max, she said, stroking the dog. I saw a car parked on the side of the road near the barn. What kind of car? Courtney asked. An old black sedan. Looked beat up. I didn't think much of it then. You didn't see who was in it? Dominic asked. Victoria shook her head. No, I just walked by. It wasn't until I saw the news this morning that I remembered. Dr. Barbara Finley. Dr. Barbara Finley welcomed the detectives into her study, a warm fire crackling in the hearth. She sat primly in an armchair, her tone measured. I was in my study last night, she said. Around 10:30 I heard noises from the barn. shuffling and then a loud metallic clang. "You didn't investigate?" Courtney asked. "No, I assumed it was Matthew working late. He often did." Courtney nodded. "Thank you, Doctor. If you remember anything else." Dr. Finley offered a polite smile. "I'll let you know." Evelyn Shaw. Evelyn Shaw's flower shop was a riot of color and fragrance. She greeted the detectives with a nervous smile, her hands trembling slightly. "Detectives," she said, "how can I help you?" Courtney held up a sample bag with soil and petals. "This soil, it's a match for the kind you use here." Evelyn's face paled. I don't know what you mean." "And your car," Dominic added. "A black sedan parked near the barn last night. Care to explain?" Evelyn backed away, knocking over a pot. "I was home. I didn't go anywhere." Courtney's eyes narrowed. "Matthew was blackmailing you, wasn't he? Something about forged land permits?" Evelyn's mask of composure cracked. "He threatened to ruin me. I didn't mean for this to happen." Evelyn bolted, weaving through the rows of flowers. Dominic chased her, knocking over pots and shelves in his pursuit. "Stop!" he yelled. Evelyn stumbled into the greenhouse, cornered by Courtney. Her breathing was ragged, her eyes wild. "I didn't mean to," Evelyn sobbed. "He pushed me too far. He said he'd destroy everything I built." "And you killed him," Courtney said coldly. Tears streamed down Evelyn's face as she fell to her knees. "It was an accident. I just wanted him to stop." Evelyn was escorted into a police car, her face a mask of despair. Courtney and Dominic watched from a distance. "I thought she was just a florist," Dominic said softly. "Everyone's got secrets," Courtney replied. "It's our job to find them." As the car disappeared down the road, Courtney looked out over the quiet town. "Behind every smile lies a story," she murmured. Shadows in the Library. A Mystery Story by Grave Pit Shadows. A quiet evening in the town library. Shadows flicker as Marcella Harris, the librarian, locks up for the night. Suddenly, a hand grabs her from behind. She gasps, a struggle ensues, and the screen fades to black. The next morning, the camera pans to the library, where yellow police tape blocks the entrance. Courtney Costello steps out of her car, her calm demeanor contrasting with the chaos of the scene. Dominic Sims arrives shortly after, looking eager yet slightly overwhelmed. Dominic. Marcella Harris. Strangled in the archives sometime last night. No witnesses so far. Courtney. Nods. Librarian. A beloved figure in town. Someone wanted her silenced. They enter the library. The scene is meticulously arranged, with books scattered and a faint smell of old paper. Courtney kneels near the body, her sharp eyes scanning for clues. Courtney. No sign of forced entry. She likely knew her killer. Dominic points to a torn page clutched in Marcella's hand. Dominic. What's this? Courtney. Looks closer. Part of an old manuscript, torn deliberately. Let's find out what she was working on. Alonte Lane, a college student, nervously fiddles with her coffee cup as the detectives question her. Alonte. I was studying late last night in the reading room. Around 10, I heard voices. It sounded like an argument. Dominic. Could you make out what they were saying? Alonte. Not really, but one voice was deeper, like a man's. Courtney. And then? Alonte. I heard footsteps, someone running, but I didn't see who it was. T-Bone Carter, the janitor, looks uncomfortable as he mops the floor. He speaks in short, clipped sentences. T-Bone. I heard a loud thud upstairs, like a shelf falling, but I don't like to meddle. Dominic. A woman was being murdered and you didn't check? T-Bone. Angrily. I didn't know that, did I? I thought it was just someone knocking over books. Courtney reviews library security footage. A figure, later identified as Jacob Yates, is seen entering the library just before it closed. The detectives visit Jacob's home. Courtney. Mr. Yates, we know you were at the library last night. Jacob. Agitated. I was there, but I didn't kill her. Marcella and I argued about the manuscript. She was planning to sell it to an outsider. That manuscript belongs here. Dominic. We found ink stains on your coat. They match the ink used in the manuscript. Jacob, pleading. I grabbed the manuscript, yes, but I didn't hurt her. Courtney and Dominic return to the library to comb through the archives. Courtney finds a hidden compartment in Marcella's desk containing the full manuscript. Dominic examines it closely. Dominic, this isn't just any manuscript. It's a detailed account of old land disputes. Valuable enough to kill over? Courtney, maybe, but Jacob's motive doesn't add up. He's obsessed, but not a killer. They find a note tucked inside, written by Marcella, hinting at threats from someone named MR. Courtney confronts Mayor Williamson, who had ties to the land disputes mentioned in the manuscript. Courtney, Marcella discovered your family's illegal land claims. She planned to expose you. Mayor Williamson, calmly. That's a bold accusation, Detective. Courtney, not bold, factual. The ink on Jacob's coat wasn't from the manuscript. It was from a stamp you used to forge documents. Dominic, and your assistant confirmed you were working late last night. We have your alibi unraveling by the minute. Cornered, Williamson breaks down. Mayor Williamson, I didn't mean to kill her. I just wanted to scare her into silence. But she wouldn't listen. She tried to fight me. Courtney, and you strangled her. The library stands in silence as Williamson is escorted to a police car. Courtney and Dominic watch from a distance. Dominic, it's always the ones you least expect. Courtney, no one's above secrets, Sims, not even the mayor. In the shadows of the quietest places lie the loudest truths. And sometimes, the stories we try to bury are the ones that refuse to stay hidden. The story may have ended, but the shadows linger on. Thank you for watching Silent Shadows. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. We're always eager to hear what you uncover. Stay tuned for more chilling tales. And as always, be careful of the secrets lurking in the dark.